makes most women start a business? Is it passion, money, or freedom? Welcome to Female Founders, the podcast that takes you behind the scene with women who are founders and CEOs to help you start and scale a successful business of your own. I am your host, Nagelia de Ravin. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Female Founders. In this episode, we are going to have a conversation with Dr. Priscilla Kucer, also known as Dr. P, founder of Priscilla Kucer Consultancy Solutions. Dr. P is a business coach helping micro businesses achieve their goals. She provides mentorship and coaching services. With a PhD in psychology, her coaching style is way more powerful than others. Let's go find out how she can help your business succeed. You are so funny. Oh, good morning, Dr. P. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. I am so excited to learn about everything you have been doing. You are a strategist business coach. You are a trainer. You are a teacher, which is awesome. But most importantly, you are a leader and a mentor. And with a doctorate degree in philosophy that enjoy helping others identify their goals and vision. But what led you to this journey?
Oh my goodness, Nahelia.
Oh my goodness.
From the very, very beginning. So my mom met my dad. No, not that far back, right? So from the time I was small, I was a little tight going to school. You know, I was considered a little troublemaker, wouldn't pay attention sometimes and would do my own thing. And I hated school. I love the social part, but the reading and writing part, not so much. And it was so funny because part of the challenges I was facing in school was because I couldn't see. So I needed glasses. I did not know that I needed glasses. I mean, what little person knows that they need glasses? It took one of my teachers telling my mom, I think she's having a hard time seeing the board, because wherever they would sit me, I would get up and I would walk towards the board, or I would be looking at my friend paper next to me, not for cheating, it's because I couldn't see what the teacher was. I was like, I don't know what's up there, so let me just write off of your paper. So turns out I needed glasses. So I had glasses from the time I was 8. And you get used to them. I've been through the whole 9 yards, a huge, to the cutesy. And then along the way too, I realized it wasn't just glasses I needed, because for me, things just moved all over on a page and I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. So I thought everybody was seeing like that. And it was really, really hard for me to read, because I would start here and then I'm all the way at the bottom and things didn't make any sense. And the teacher would ask me questions. I'm like, that wasn't in the passage. I didn't read that. No, and I started thinking, maybe I'm just not smart, right? So my parents realized there are different ways that I could feel good about myself, I guess, because they turned around and enrolled me in like dance and gymnastics and tennis and music, playing the piano. And I absolutely loved it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm learning stuff and things are so much fun. And growing up, my sister, I always thought she was smarter than me. And I realized later on in life, we have different kinds of smarts, right? So she's very much so good with the book smartsy part, and I was not. And then I realized, hey, we learn differently and you got to appreciate that. And I was so grateful for my parents giving me that opportunity to be in those other avenues, and learning became fun for me. And they were able to get me some tutors that understood me and helped me to learn. And it made such a huge difference. It was only, I'm going to jump ahead a couple years. It was only when I got to graduate school that I really realized that I'm dyslexic and I have dyscalculia. So that's why it was so hard for me to be reading, because you talk about switching those letters around. I mean, letters, people don't even understand why you switch around. You're reading and nothing makes sense because you're reading too many lines at the same time. It's tough. It is very, very tough. But apparently over the years, I learned to compensate. So when I realized, hey, back when I was small and realized people learn differently and my parents helped me out, I figured I want to help other children. I want to help other children who are struggling. I'm going to do this. I'm going to become a psychologist. And I'm like, but I really don't know what a psychologist does, but I'm still going to be one of them. So researched it. When the internet was now starting out, I can make myself seem old now, but when the internet was now starting out and we had dial up, was researching what psychologist was and still taking trips to the good old library to find out what it was. And my parents reached out to people that were already psychologists so that I could find out what it was. And we didn't get much help because my parents were told she's 13. There's no way on earth she even knows what the hell she wants to do with her life, that I can check back with them in 10 years. So I was like, oh, so much for support. That didn't stop me or my parents. I continued digging. I did my undergraduate home in Barbados at University of the West Indies, KFL campus, in psychology. And then from there, I did graduate school in Nova Southeastern University in Florida. So I went on to do my clinical psychology doctorate, which, from all the stuff you read up about me, that's not what my doctorate is in. I started with clinical psychology because that's all I read about. That's all I found out about. And that's who helps children. And I did my first year and absolutely hated it. No, Healy, I mean, hated it. I'm like, this is not what I want to do. Oh my God, I'm wasting my parents' money. Oh my goodness, this is so much money. The US is so expensive. And I wanted to withdraw, put through my paperwork, and got rejected. And I fought it because I'm like, who the hell rejects your withdrawal? Because I saw so many other people wanted to withdraw and they got to withdraw. I'm like, what the hell? So I had a conversation with the dean, and the dean was like, you need to consider something else because you're not withdrawing because you're failing, because you're not failing. You're doing really great. I said, but I don't like this. This is not for me. So the dean said to me, consider doing a vocational test. And because I wasn't going to trust her one, because I thought she was just trying to get me there, she gave me like 3 different ones I can try out. So I did all 3. And what came back was education and psychology. But I didn't want to be a guidance counselor. So she said to me, there's more to education and psychology than just guidance counseling. That's how I found out about school psychology. So I'm sitting in Barbados trying to figure out, do I want to do this school psychology thing that nobody knows exists? That was my logic. Turns out it's a whole profession that was over 50 years old. But I was thinking that nobody knew what school psychologists did. The director of the school psychology program at Nova called me up. And she's like, hey, I heard about your vocational test. I was like, of course you did. So you can enroll in the program. So I was like, okay, let me give it a shot. But I decided I'm going to try it out for a semester. And if I hated that, my withdrawal should be honored and I should be able to move back to Barbados, right? That's me kind of doing some wheeling and dealing there. And did that first semester and I absolutely loved it. I loved everything about it. And I learned so much in just one semester. So I stuck with school psychology. I learned about assessment, doing all the different fancy psychometric assessments, doing quantitative, doing qualitative, being able to learn about how a person reads, how they do math, how they do writing, their social, their emotional, their personality, behavior. Is so many things I got to learn how to do working with children. And then when I got out into the world of work, it was even more stuff because then I working with adults, realizing that to help a child, you really work a lot with adults to help children. So just understanding like what happened to them that morning was impacting how they were interacting with me at 9 o'clock. So yeah, we started our day at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. But let's be honest, our days really start when we wake up. And people have different things going on at home. So really learning about, hey, understanding the background of people, getting to know them and working with them as people, learning about the impact of morale. Oh my gosh, morale is huge. When morale is terrible, people do not perform well. And then job satisfaction, then you have burnout, understanding professional development, helping people understand that salary and compensation, salary is a part of compensation, and knowing what your full compensation package is. I realized a lot of people didn't know that. A lot of people didn't understand their retirement. And in terms of professional growth, what was out there, the skills, knowing their strengths, and rather than focusing on their weaknesses, but knowing their strengths, understanding the strategic plan, the vision, the mission, the goals of a school district, and even their school, so learning how all of that went together, performance evaluations. I got to experience all of that working in 4 states and 2 countries. And along the line, I decided to do my doctorate of philosophy in industrial organizational psychology. Why? Because it all went together for me, and I was able to marry loves of mine. Being able to help the individual, but also looking at the system. And while working in all the different school districts, and especially with high schoolers, that's when I realized, hey, people need an avenue wherein they can build the businesses of their dreams rather than sitting down going, when I retire, then I'll start this. Or having students be told, nope, you have to go to college before you can even have, go to college, work for somebody else, and then have a business. And it's like, no, you don't have to do those things. We all have different paths. And really realizing, hey, once you have that structure, you can build the business that you dreamed about. Once you have that strategy, and then putting those actions into place, understanding how to measure those actions, understanding what your results mean, understanding how to use those results. So that's what got me into, I want to work with business owners, but not just any business owners though. I don't want to work the large ones because they got a lot of support. Right? They could bite their support
Yes.
and get all these people to come in. What I wanted to do was to work with that person who has been trying to make it within the last 10 years. They've been doing a little bit here and a little bit there. So I at first thought I could work with small business owners. Then I realized after some research on SBA's website, small business owners, that varies. You can either have 10 employees or you can have 1,500 depending on your industry. So then I learned about micro businesses, did some more research, and I'm like, those are the folks I want to work with. I want to work with the people who it's just them or them and less than 10 employees. They want to stay small or they have their eyes on growing to a much bigger company and helping them get that internal structure that they need, helping them understand their personal skills and abilities and their leadership style so that they're better able to hire the right team members to complement them so that they have more of a mixture of differences and skills on their team so that they can grow. So that's my journey to work with micro business owners.
Oh my goodness. It's amazing how your parents never give up, even what the system or other people said to them. I think they saw something in you that other people couldn't see. Because a lot of parents sometimes here in the United States, when they go to the system or they go for help and they're like, no, we can't help you with that. This is not gonna happen. They give up eventually. But your
Mm-hmm.
parents, even from your country, they didn't give up. They just keep on going, and especially coming to United States to school, which is super expensive.
Yes, it is. But exchange rate, it is cheaper than going to Canada or to going to the UK. So there was method to my madness. But yeah, my
Yeah,
parents,
but
they never gave up on me.
yeah, but they, even when you didn't want to do this, they still invest for you to go try it to make sure that's what you
Mm-hmm.
want. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's great to see parents out there that still believing in their kids and want to invest that type of money to make sure the
Mm-hmm.
kids have the education that they need to survive. Another thing that you said also when it's come to starting a business is a lot of people think that you need to have a PhD, you need to have a master degree, you need to have all these things. For me, I looked at them as a plus, but I don't look at them as the main thing that you need. Don't get me wrong; it's good to have the education. It's
Mm-hmm.
good to keep on learning because we need that. But I don't think that should stop you from want to start a business because you
It
you
shouldn't.
cannot know everything. For example, the things that you know, you spend the time to learn them so you can go ahead and pass it on to someone who do not know it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the how it's supposed to be, because as a business owner, if you sit there, you said I'm going to learn every single part of having a business, you'll never have a business because you can't learn all.
So true. That's why you definitely need a team. And a lot of people have said to me, wow, you're different because business coaches don't usually have doctorates. I said, I know that. But what they do is that they go and they get certifications, and all the different certification types that are out there. And I've explained to folks that what I did in my doctorate is some of what they cover in those certification programs, right? Because it's different. Because, like you said, not everybody goes on to do a master's degree, not everybody goes on to do a bachelor's. There are some coaches out there who graduated high school, did different kinds of jobs, they did certification programs, and they're excellent at what they do. We all have different journeys. And I've had people say to me, oh, well, you only did the degrees because your parents went to college. My parents did not go to college, and I'm very proud of my parents. One, my mom is an investment banker, investment broker, sorry, and my dad is an accountant. They did not go to college. My mom grew up in an era where women were not even thought to be needed to go to school because my parents are both born in the 50s. So and in the islands at that. So it wasn't that women were pushed to go to school, but she was gun ho. She was going to finish school, her and her sisters. And she got into the bank, at a time when not very many people were being able to get into a bank. Yes, she started as a secretary, but my mom was able to learn on the job. She had amazing mentors, and she got to the level of being that investment broker, that investment banker. Her knowledge is phenomenal for the banking. Same as my dad. My dad didn't go to college to do accounting, but he did all the accounting credit courses and certifications, and he was the accountant for our biggest restaurant on the island before he retired. So those are the two people I got to see and grow up around. And I love it. I love the fact that they had those experiences and they were able to share it with me. And they support me to this day. They're my biggest advertisers. They talk to people and they're always talking about and I forget about some of the things I've accomplished. And they're like, oh yeah, I just told so-and-so about this thing that you just did 2 weeks ago and what you did last year. And I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. So they're there, and so is my sister. They're supporting me. Like I said, my two biggest advertisers are my mom and my dad, and my sister is on social media supporting me, and I love it. I love the support from my family.
I think that you have the best mentors in the world, and that is for me. It's our parents, our grandparents. Usually, they are the best mentors, and it's kind of it's really when even when I tell people my grandpa didn't go to school, so I don't know. Yeah, they didn't go to school. They didn't have to, but they are like the best people. The knowledge is like the way they learn it. It's in a different way, and it's like the best of the best. And one thing I like about you as a business coach is the fact that I study psychology as well, and I'm very much in love with psychology. I love learning about people, their behaviors. I don't judge people by just saying, well, some so and so did you did this, I'm gonna judge you. I don't like to do that. I like to get to know people to understand why you did it before I can even say something about bad about you, because I don't feel like I'm in any position to do that. And I guess that's come from me studying psychology. And the best part about you being a business coach with a psychology degree is the fact that you get to learn people. I think me, I will personally separate you from other coaches because of your not just your education, it's what you study, because you get to learn people, their behaviors, how they act. So if you can understand a human themselves, you can actually help that human. If you cannot understand that human, it's become a lot harder for you. So the fact that you have that degree and you explore different type of psychology, which is really awesome. So you get to understand the different part of a human brain, how that person is functioning. When you're talking to someone, you can understand the person from a personal level, and if you can understand that in a personal level, it's easier for you to help in a business level. Regardless, you don't mix business with personal. You as a human play a big role in it, you as a business person as well. So I think that's how I will differ you. It's not about having the PhD. It's what you have the PhD on, the thing that you study, which is that's what make you the best coach that you can possibly be. So that's make you separately from others, and also the things that you're doing to help them. Those are the things that people don't even think about. I meet a lot of coaches, Dr. P, a lot of them. And the thing is that about it is the fact that they don't take the chance to get to know the person as a human being, but also the small things that make the big difference in the company.
Yes.
Let's talk about the goals. Let's talk about the vision behind the company. These are the biggest things, really. They are small, but they are the biggest part of the company. So if you don't have them, well, let's just say you're going to fail in 5 years.
So, some of them might fail in 5 months because they're coming into it with the wrong idea. You have the business owner, A lot of people who are starting businesses, they were working for other people, especially, if you think about your Gen Xers who they're born in the 40s and 50s and 60s, and they're wanting to now do their own things, or people who are born in 70s and 80s wanting to go and do their own thing now. And a lot of times it's because I want my freedom and I want to make money, and that's what they're focused on. But when you ask them, what is your business about? Oh, I'm going to help people. Every business that exists is out there to help people. So how do you want to help them? Oh, I'm just going to help them. Okay, but doing what? Oh, giving them my skills. In what? And
What
then
is your
they
skill?
start focus. It's like, what are those skills? Because they ended up focusing on, oh, what should I call my business? That's your focus? Like the name of your business? Okay. All right. Where are we going with this? Does the name go into the goals you have? But a lot of times they don't necessarily have the goals besides, oh, I want to make the same amount of money I'm making right now, working with somebody else. I want to work in my business. I want to make it my business. Okay. But doing what? What exactly are you going to be doing? And that's where that vision and that mission come in. And working last few weeks with some clients, I'm like just thinking through that process about that vision and that mission, because once you have an idea of where you want your business to go and what your business is going to be doing, it really helps you to meet those goals. And another thing people forget about are values. It's not your personal values, but it's the values for your company. I was speaking to a business owner last week, and she said to me, well, I thought values are just for your employees. You give it to them and they run with it. It's like, no, values are what's going to attract people, employees, and customers for working with you. And those are the values that you're going to put into all your actions. You're going to showcase this because you want your employees and your vendors and everybody you're working with to see that you're actually living by your own values for your company. And you bring in people to help understand what those values are. Because if you got employees already, don't create values in your own little office. Work with your employees and figure out, okay, what do these values mean for us? And I've had people say to me, well, it's just me and my business. It's just me and my business. Okay, but your business is a thing by itself and you are you. And a lot of times the micro business owners, the solo practitioners, solo entrepreneurs, they don't see it that way. They blend them together and they somehow start thinking the business is them. The business is its own entity. It's supposed to have its own personality. It has its own values. It has its own goals that you want to be working on, and it's really understanding what the difference is. And then even understanding what a goal is. The SMART acronym is a really good one to use, being specific and measurable. Some people say actionable or attainable, having that being realistic and time bound. When you include those elements in your goal, you're more likely to have a clear picture of what it is you're working towards. Because that time bound part could be 5 years, it could be 3 years, it could be 2 years. It depends on the goals. Some goals are really big and some are not as big, but all of them do have little steps that you have to do, because there's no goal out there that, oh, after one action, I got it. There are going to be several little actions you're going to be taking that you are eventually going to get the goal. And those long-term ones, we need some motivation for those. Not gonna lie, because those ones make us question our being sometimes. Like, oh my God, am I really gonna meet this goal? Because those are the long-term ones that we gotta put things in action for 12 months or for 24 months before we can achieve them. But when we do, it is so liberating when we're like, yes, took me 3 years, but
Yes.
I am here. I got this goal. And then you're on to the next one. And that's what really helps you with moving forward. And there are some acronyms out there that add on the E and R to call it smarter goals. So you're looking at the evaluation and you're looking at results. And for me, what's the point in having a goal if you're not going to evaluate it and look at the results you're getting? Because you do have to do that part. And a lot of people don't. They don't look at how is this goal going? Do I need to make tweaks in it? And working in the schools and doing interventions, that's another thing I learned. You can have the best, most appropriate intervention for the situation, but the implementation, life happens. Humans are humans and life happens. Something might go wrong and you're not able to do the same thing every day, 4 days in a row, or something happens and you miss out on a week. those things impact the progress you're making with your goals. And a lot of people don't see that. Then there's that big old C called consistency. A lot of people fall short on consistency. And those people know who they are. Those are the ones that say, yes, I'm going to go to the gym every day for the next 30 days. And after 3 days, they're done. Or I'm going to stop eating meat, for the next 60 days. After the first day, they're done. The consistency part for some people is not there. And that is part of working towards your goals. We have to be consistent. And I've told my clients and I've told people I've met in networking events that my definition of consistency might not be yours. Because I might be looking at something I have to do every day. You might be looking at something you have to do twice a week or once a month. It depends on what that action is. And whatever that action is, you have to define consistency for that and then be able to monitor your progress on it. Because regardless of how often you're engaging in that action, we still have to be like, okay, reflection time. How are we doing? How's this looking? Do I need to make changes? And I've realized a lot of people don't understand how to make changes. So you have a lot of business owners out there, when things aren't working, what do? They stop. And all they're looking at is, I feel like nothing's working for me. No, they do. I feel like nothing's working for me, versus actually looking at their data, whatever their metric is, and realizing the trend that is going on, because they could be having a positive trend, which means they're making growth. But because they see this up and down thing, they feel that up and down, I should say, they think they aren't making any progress. So it's really sitting with them and getting them to see, okay, what is your goal? What is the metric you're using? How are you going to monitor that progress? And when are we going to make some changes? And people don't like changes, but change is the only constant. So we got to be able to make changes, and we still got to make it within our comfort zone to an extent before we can go outside of our comfort zone. Because people have to be able to feel comfortable about the actions they're taking before you can challenge them and take them a little higher. That way you get them to buy in, and they're more likely to be consistent with you.
Absolutely. And I totally agree with you on that. And I think that also it's depend who's helping them as well, because a lot of the things that you talk about, you don't hear them every day, especially coming from a coach. Usually you don't hear that. Usually I just hear I can help you make six figure. The last time I heard even a 10 figure, I didn't even know that was exist. I was very surprised when I heard it. I'm like, 10 figures exist? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for the offer, but I don't think I want to make 10 figure. I'm comfortable here growing the way it's supposed to be growing until I get where I need to go, because I know exactly what I want. I know where I come from, and I know exactly where I'm going because I've been planning it. So it's the things that you talk about, we don't hear it from a business coach a lot. They just talk about, we're gonna make the six figure, we're gonna do this, we're gonna reach out to people by email, the people are gonna buy it, and this is the plan. But in reality, there's a lot of things that play behind that plan to make that money happen. And you know what? If anyone tell you you're gonna make six figure, you should run away, because it doesn't happen overnight. I'm not saying you cannot make it, but it's not gonna happen in the next 2 or 3 months. That's absolutely not, unless you're
No.
scamming people. So
That's probably the quickest way.
that's the quickest way. But I guess that's a conversation for a different time with Dr. P. But you always wanted to start your own business, but you are
Mm-hmm.
too afraid to do so. Why was that?
Because of failure. I mean, we all have that fear of failing, right? And it's like, oh, am I sure this is what I want to do? Maybe I shouldn't. And then, you hear people talk about, oh, gather the experiences, get your experiences working here and working there. And I remember sitting going, but how many years do I have to gather experiences? You know, is there a timeline on this? And I remember thinking, okay, maybe it's 2 years. No, maybe it's 3 years. Maybe it's 4 years. I'm like, you know what? There was a point in time in November, was it? I think November 2020. And I was like, yeah, I'm done working for people. I go work for myself. That is literally what I said, because I was getting frustrated with having to go in and being told this is what they want me to do, but then being measured against different expectations that I was not aware of when I started working. and then the terrible systems and processes that they had in place. Some places were better than others, don't get me wrong, but overall, it was too much frustration. And then, like I mentioned earlier, with the morale and the burnout, the lack of appreciation and recognition, the real teamwork was not happening. It was like an up here type decision, but not down here being involved. And I'm like, why is it you keep saying to yourself, this is what you're going to go and help people do? Why are you keeping helping people do that and improve their things when you can take those same damn skills and start your own damn business and do that and really be able to help those you want to be helping? Because that's another thing. There are people I learned along the years that they need the help, but they're not ready to take the help. And a lot of times they want to be able to be recognized for some monumental change. They don't want somebody else getting their glory. Whereas there are business owners out there who want help. Some of them are still a little hesitant, but they want the help. They want to be able to create their idea. They don't want to go and just be like a home-based businesses, one of the network marketing companies, to go sign up with them. They actually want to start something from the ground up, but they're afraid to do so. And I'm like, well, if I'm afraid to help them, how the hell I gonna help them if I don't start mine, right? So I decided I am going to do this. I mean, my first attempt at starting a business, I was a little hesitant, and I was like, it's within education. I'm like, I feel passionate about it, but I don't feel like, yes, I want to get out my bed and do this. So I was kind of dragging my feet on it. And then when I realized to myself, hey, take the things you love, put them all together, and become a business coach. But then I'm saying there's so many business coaches out there, though. I want to be different. So that's why I'm a strategic business coach, because that makes sense to me. And it also plays on my strengths. I've taken so many of those strengths assessments over the years. So I know my strengths, right? So I'm like, that is who I am. So like you saw on my website, you're going to go and you'll see that word strategic, strategy, so many different places, because I realized that that is something that people are lacking. They're lacking strategy. I've talked to digital marketers. What do they talk about? A strategy. I've talked to insurance folks. What did they talk about? A strategy. Lawyers, the same thing. And they want to help people with that strategy. HR professionals, they want to help you with your strategy. And a lot of times, business owners don't think strategically. Don't get me wrong, strategic thinking is not everybody's strength. But that is also why you hire people around you who don't have the same strengths as you, but who can help you achieve the goal that you want to achieve. So I work through my own fears. I use my own psychology on me to motivate myself and get myself up and moving. And it also became a big part of the approach that I use. Because on my website, people will be able to see about the OPAL system. And it's that way because it looks at your organizational development, your personal skills and abilities, your leadership, and your education. Because I realize, the top 500 companies, top 100 companies, all of them have those four things embedded. They have organizational development. They look at people's personal skills and abilities. They look at leadership, and education is embedded. And for me, all four of them together spell OPAL, because the opal, the naturally occurring gem, has diverse qualities and a unique structure. And for me, everybody's business has diverse qualities and unique structure, because we all have a value proposition, right? And most importantly, it's spelled
Absolutely.
OPLE because I'm dyslexic. So opal is OPLE for me.
I love it. Now let's talk about the your business, the consultant. What exactly do you do? How do you actually help people? How does the LLC actually help people?
How do I help people? Oh my gosh, you want to know all my secrets? No, I'm kidding.
Yes,
So
tell me the secret. The secret. The secret. The secret.
so for me, I look at the fact that consulting, people call it advice giving. Yes, there's advice giving embedded in there, but there are different types of consulting. And most people are unaware of that, because they think consulting, what do they think of? Going to their doctor and asking questions, right? That's the first thing that comes to mind for a lot of people. And then they're like, why would I pay you for advice when I could go to my friend? hey, I don't know who your friend is, but if your friend isn't in your industry, if your friend doesn't understand business, then do you really want to be getting business advice from a non-business person or non-industry person? That's just something for people to think about right there. Because, as we were growing up, we all did this. We used to get relationship advice from our best friends who may not have been in a relationship, but we're still getting relationship advice from them. They're saying go, they're telling you stay, but they're not in one. But somehow we decide to listen to them. And how did that end up for us, right? So it's a
Not too
similar
good.
concept. It didn't end up so good because why are we taking advice from somebody who's not in one, right? But that's something we tend to do because it's comfortable. And you don't want to go to a stranger because, as you were talking about earlier about the judging, you don't want a stranger to judge you. But you have to overcome that when you go to your medical doctor, right? Because when you have an issue, you go to the doctor and nobody else is around, just you and the doctor. Well, it might be you and the nurse practitioner at first, then the doctor, depending on the setup. And you get to share about what's happening. They ask you questions and you in turn ask questions as well so that you can figure out, hey, what is happening and get their advice on what to do next. And people are more likely to do that when it comes to their physical health. But when it comes to their businesses, they're still hesitant to ask questions to the right person. And with consulting, you can either get consulting on an individual level or the consultation can happen on a systems level. And I learned that through my training and through my experiences. And sometimes when working with micro business owners, the consultation might be more on an individual level because it's something they themselves are working through that they need to understand how that's impacting their decision making. Then sometimes it's on the systems level, looking at their whole organization, their entire company, their entire business, and seeing where is the problem falling, within their current operations and their processes and within their systems, and really pinpointing, okay, this is where the issue is. Now, what is it related to? And what are the factors that we need to change? And that is from a systemic point of view. It might be something from the business owner point of view that is contributing to that, or it could be one of the team members or a department within your organization. But it's understanding that the strategy to your consultation, see the word strategy again, the strategy to your consultation makes a huge difference in what you're going to expect to get out of it. And with a consultation, you get your questions answered. So you get more of the what. What can you do next? Right? And you can run with it and you can figure out how that is going to be. With the coaching part, you get the what and you get the how. Because we talk about what your problem is, what your issue is, what your concern is, what you can do to fix that, that the solution. But we take it a step further in the coaching because we're going to look at how. And how is the part that a lot of people don't like to do because it requires planning. And it really requires sitting down and looking at that what and saying what exactly that means. And how are you actually going to do the what, and
Right.
also aligning it with the goals you have for your company. Because I tell people what you're working on should always be aligned to the goals you have for your company. Because the alignment has to be there if you want your company to continue to make that progress. So consulting for some people is a little comfortable because they just ask questions and they get some answers and they go off and they work on it themselves, or they might come on board with you and do the coaching. And for some business owners, they can't afford the coaching, but the consultation and the type of people they are. They could be go-getters and they could be good at figuring out the steps they need to take, but they just need help with what they should be working on. So again, catering to different folks and also to different economic levels where you are in your business, you're going to continue to grow. And I don't think anybody should go broke getting coaching to help their business. My thing is about helping you with scaling, and you should be doing those actions and paying for those things within what you have right now, and you gradually build on and you expand. But you shouldn't go and spend all the money you have coming in on coaching, because then you leave nothing for you being actually to run your business. So that's a little bit about the difference between the consulting and the coaching.
Absolutely. And I totally agree with what you said. Starting a business is, you need a coach, you need a mentor, you need a to consult someone to help you. But also you need money for other things. So if you spend all of your money in one thing, then how you really do not have a business, because your coach gonna go tell you to go do this, but you can't really do this because you don't have the money to invest on it. So at the end of the day, really, you're not making any progress. I absolutely agree with you on that. Can you tell us about? I'm not sure if I'm saying the name of it the proper way, the way you pronounce it yourself. But can you tell us about SOAR with coaching? SOAR.
Yep, you got it right. SOAR coaching. So SOAR stands for solutions plus actions equals results. That is your SOAR. So SOAR with coaching, that is your customized coaching program. And it could be a minimum of 6 months, and we can do 12 months. And we can also do 24 months, depending on the goal you're looking to accomplish. So with the SOAR with coaching, you get your one-on-one coaching, and again, very individualized. I have clients who love weekly. I have clients who love biweekly. I have clients who are fine with once a month, right? And they take their actions, because I'm very big on giving you what you need to help you accomplish your goals. So not only are we meeting, depending on the frequency, not only are we having our individual coaching sessions, you also get some consultation with your coaching, but I also have a learning management system that I use, and it's called Giraffe Pad, and I love it. It makes me feel like you're genie in your little pocket when I'm not around, because with the learning management system, we have tasks every week. And the tasks aren't things I'm just pulling out my ass and telling you, hey, you need to go do this. These are things aligned with what we talked about in our coaching session and helping you to take those actions. So really working through the plan for how you're going to be taking those actions that we talked about that you want to do that are aligned with your strategic goals. So every week you have an activity that you're going to be working on, and I provide you with resources to help you accomplish that activity. And also, if it is a manual that we're working on, you get your little worksheet to help with brainstorming on how you're going to be creating a manual specific for your company. And clients absolutely love it, because you get to be able to talk with me privately in the chat, and we are out of your inbox. So everything is done within the learning management system. So the chat features, the activities, you sharing information with me, all is within the learning management system. And you don't have to worry about missing some email in your inbox, because everything is in the learning management system. And we do that, is updated every single week based on your progress. There is accountability in there as well,
Of
because I got to
course.
make sure I'm keeping you accountable for what you say you're going to be doing. And in doing so, helping you build your accountability systems for your own company. So I absolutely love working within it. And we're going to be adding some courses to it as well, so that you can also get even more support for the things that you want to be doing. And when you have the time, you can work through the courses. So with the courses, those come included when you do the anywhere from 6 months to 24 months coaching packages. But you'll be able to also purchase courses individually if you just want to take courses. So that's SOAR with
Absolutely.
coaching. Love it.
I love it. I love it. So, how was the journey starting a business? Did you have to overcome any obstacles?
Oh my gosh, rejection. The rejection is a big one, because I mean, even from going to school at Nova Southeastern University, go Sharks, woohoo! You go to school, and we're talking about how expensive the US is, whew, and you want to go for the scholarships, right? So you apply for scholarships, and it is so funny when people say, oh my gosh, you've had an experience, but you don't need this money as bad as other people need it. It's like, what the hell? So how bad do I have to be? you know? So I've applied for scholarships, didn't get them. I applied for jobs on campus, didn't get those. I remember internship, applying all over, didn't get any of
Get
them.
it.
And I'm like, damn, maybe I made a mistake in my life. What am I doing here? But the thing is that all of that rejection. And then there's also personal rejection, no? All the relationships that you go through. Somehow we still find time to do relationships amidst all the chaos we're doing. We do. We're just human beings. So you got all of this rejection. And I decided, hey, it's going to just make me stronger. That's what I decided. It's going to make me stronger. So as I decided to do the business and got over my own fears of, oh my gosh, maybe I shouldn't. Nobody's going to want to listen to what I have to say or come work with me. I told myself that's not true. I have something to offer. I'm going to get out there and share it. And then realizing your business is not for everyone. There are how much billion people on this planet? I don't even know, 6 billion, 7 billion, how much ever billion there are. All of them aren't going to be my client. Then even within the US, within the state, within the city, not every person is going to be my client. And that's something I try to share with new business owners, even the existing ones that I'm still not sure how they're making it, targeting everyone, because everyone is not your client. Your business is not for everyone. And really having an idea of who your business is for. Because your rejection comes very high and very fast when you're trying to get everybody. But when you start actually looking at, but who do I want to be associated with? Who do I want coming and purchasing my services and my products? And some people call it their avatar. Some people call it your ideal client, your ideal customer. All these different names are out there, your golden goose, all these different terms. And at first I was like, that sounds so hocus pocusy. Like, what the hell? No. But then I realized it actually does make sense. Because once you do that, it helps with your vision. It helps with your mission. It helps you with your values. It helps you with your goals, your strategic goals. It helps you with that damn marketing. So you're not spending unnecessary money. And it really helps you to be strategic in who you network with. So learning, again, got rejection, but overcoming that is part of it. I'm really understanding my business isn't for everyone. And you just gotta figure out who your business is for and stick with it. Does that mean that once you identify it, those people are gonna be knocking down your door in 2 seconds? No, you still have to get out there and build relationships with people and build that know, like, and trust with them so that they can understand who you are and want to do business with you. And then, of course, the other obstacles would be financial, because, hey, everybody would like to be able to start a business with $50,000, just hand it to them, no
Oh
questions
yeah.
asked, and you don't have to pay it back. But that's not how it is. For a lot of us, we are working full time and gradually building up on the side. And you come to a day like I had one day and be like, screw this, I'm going to work for myself. But you still are doing that knowing you can survive. Because it wasn't a matter of I did that and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to make it? I did do it strategically, to be honest. I was like, oh, I have enough money that I can do this for X amount of months, while I'm getting some income coming through. But it's still a trial and error, because you can sit down and have the best plans, take those actions, but then it doesn't work out. And the key I found out is don't give up. You have to look at what happened in that action. What can I learn from that action? Don't look at the failing part, but look at the positives, because within every failing event, there were positives that happened. And they might have been small compared to the failure, but they're still big enough for you to notice it, to be able to use it so that you can take your action better the next time around and you continue going through it. But I don't mean this is easy. This is not an easy feat, being an entrepreneur. All those entrepreneurs who came before you and I, they ain't lying. It is not for the faint-hearted. It is a damn roller coaster of a ride. You have your good days. You have your bad days. You have your days you bawl your eyes out to your friend, your mom, whoever will listen to you. And then other days when you're on it and you're so busy and getting things done, nobody hears from you. So it is a roller coaster of a ride, but I won't trade it. I would not trade it.
Absolutely, and I agree with you on that. One last question that I have for you: what is your plan for the future?
My plan for the future. Which future? The immediate future or long-term future?
Yeah, yeah, the future where we get down, where we actually gonna fly up our cars into the sky and go
Oh
all the way down to
Lord.
the next planet. That future. Let's talk about that one.
Listen, at the rate human beings are going, shoot, that might be 2 years from now. Because we're such interesting people. My plan for the future is to continue growing for sure. And I really want to add some more courses to establish an institute where people can go and learn at their own pace and within their financial budget. Because, like I mentioned, there are people out there who want to start businesses but think they can't because they don't have $50,000 to start with a coach, or $20,000, or the collateral to buy the truck that they need, or a building that they need. Because not everybody can do their business online, and I'm fully aware of that. So it's really giving people that opportunity for having that education, and through that education, also learning about themselves and their personal skills, and learning the different types of leadership. Not everybody's a transformational leader, so it's really understanding what is your leadership style and how can you use that to help grow your company, even when it's only you right now, but you're still interacting with other people. And again, tapping into the last part of Opal is that organizational development, helping folks realize having a business isn't just doing that paperwork for your LLC or your PLLC or your incorporation, or it is a whole lot more besides the paperwork. So that institute is very important for me to be able to help those who want to start that business and even grow it, because there are people who've been doing their business for 5 years, but they're missing certain factors and they're barely making it. So showing them, hey, here's what you're missing out on. I'm also looking in the future, I'm going to add some more coaches and courses. Oh my God, those words tie me up sometimes. So adding some more coaches. Someone once asked me if I'm going to franchise. I don't know what that will bring, if that will happen in the future. Who knows? Right now, it is not something I am leaning towards, but you never know what will come. And definitely continue working nationally here in the US and also working internationally. That is part of my goals as well. Want to be able to help businesses in as many places, because business is business regardless of where you are. The little nuances have to do with your government and the things that are specific to the culture and the region where you are. But there are certain things about strategy that doesn't matter where you are and what language you speak. Strategy is strategy.
Absolutely, and I agree with that. And thank you so much for the opportunity to have this conversation with you. It's amazing to actually meet someone that is doing something similar to what I'm passionate about. So
Mm-hmm.
it's always great to meet other women also that's doing
Yes,
great work to
because
help other women. It's mean a lot to see the
yes,
pure work, not just the quick thing, quick money, quick this, but it's like building something that actually can help other women, and we are contribute to actually continue what our ancestors, what the other woman has fought for to actually get us where we are right now as women. And I appreciate you doing
that's
that.
part of why I agreed to do this interview, because I saw the education piece is big for you, and I saw that you have that influence, not just nationally here in the US, but internationally. And having done I'm fortunate done my education in Barbados, and we had our education, but learning about the challenges that girls still go through internationally, and it's unbelievable. We're still having so many challenges. So to be able to see women still rise above those obstacles they have and to continue to help them. Yeah, that's why when I found out about you, I was like, yes, I'm going to do this one, because I say no to people. I do. I say no to people. But with what I saw, with how we were communicating, and even with how your assistant communicated, you can even tell a difference, right? Because you can see that she really is invested in this process, and y'all do work together. And all the information I found on the website, I'm like, yep, I got to do this one. This one I can't say no to. So I do appreciate the opportunity as well. And who knows, our futures might be interconnected. Who knows what's going to happen after today? You never know.
We never know. What a great conversation with Dr. P. Starting a business is not an easy task. It requires hard work, careful planning, and patient capital. Having a support system from childhood to adulthood, like Dr. P had, is a big plus. Unfortunately, some of us are not as lucky as Dr. P. We do everything alone. That's when burnout comes. Burnout in business is easy to understand and easy to achieve, but unfortunately, some of us take longer to understand what's going on. Taking too much is usually the main problem. So here are just a few strategies you can use to deal with burnout. Number 1, plan out what you want and what you want to focus on. Number 2, learn to say no. Not everything is for you, and not every opportunity is your opportunity. So learn to say no so you don't burn yourself out. And number 3, ask for help. Yes, you need to ask for help. You can't do everything by yourself. It's impossible to build a business alone. Reach out to a business coach, to a mentor. Reach out and ask for help. Business coach like Dr. P is always there to give extra guidance and support so that your business can succeed. So don't be afraid to reach out to someone like Dr. P. Thank you, Dr. P, for such a fantastic conversation, and thank you for listening to this week's episode. Let me know your thoughts about this episode and how your business is helping micro businesses achieve their goals. To learn more about Dr. P and Priscilla Kucer Consultancy Solutions, please visit www.drpksolutions.com. Thank you for listening to Female Founders Podcast. That's it for this week's episode. Be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast app or connect with us on womel.com so that you don't miss our next episode. See you next time. Bye for now.